Good morning, everyone. My name is Annie Fink, and I'm the Marketing Coordinator for Wonderware, California. Thank you for attending our Learn in 30 webinar today, focused on remote alarm notifications to TopView. After the webinar this morning, we will be doing a short Q&A. Please type any questions or comments into the Q&A box, the chat box, or you can email us at webinar@california.wonderware.com. Now I'd like to introduce your presenter for today's webinar, Dane Overfield. Dane is the team lead for TopView Alarm and Notification Software. Good morning, Dane.
Good morning, Annie. Can you hear me? Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. As Annie said, my name is Dane Overfield, and I'm with Excel, the developer of TopView. Just about Excel, we are in Rochester, New York, on Lake Ontario, basically directly across Lake Ontario from Toronto, Canada. So today I'm going to present an overview of TopView. I'll explain the basic components of the product, how we integrate with Wonderware, the various notification options, and some of the additional features beyond notifications. So TopView is alarm notification and alarm management software for Wonderware. We typically monitor existing alarms, but you also have the option to create new alarm conditions against measurement data. The real-time TopView engine detects new alarm events, it logs these events, and it provides various forms of notification. The current and historical state of alarms can be viewed in scheduled and ad hoc reports, and our alarm analytics provides insight into your alarm activity to help you identify bad actors. Both current and historical alarm information can be accessed remotely through our desktop and web-based clients. And TopView's advanced diagnostic tools give you confidence in TopView by providing easy access to real-time performance information and to our logs. TopView is not a new product. It's the result of over 20 years of development with thousands of installations worldwide, from very small systems with a handful of alarms to sites with hundreds of thousands of alarms. Although we work with many systems, including databases and process historians, our SCADA Connect feature provides tight integration with many popular SCADA systems, including System Platform, InTouch, and InTouch Edge. TopView has an excellent reputation for reliability and ease of use, and we continually add features to take advantage of new technology and notification options. The runtime component of TopView is called the TopView engine. The TopView engine monitors the alarms from Wonderware and performs all the configured notifications and reporting. The engine can run interactively or as a Windows service, and we allow the user to optionally run multiple engines, each one doing a subset of the required work. For configuration of the engines, we have two desktop tools, the full configurator and a smaller contacts and recipients app that allows the user to only manage information related to notification recipients. We also have a web-based configurator that allows both local and remote configuration tasks to be executed. Our client components for monitoring and acknowledging alarms include a desktop application called the Remote Viewer and a web-based application targeting mobile devices, but also available on any device with a web browser. Our administrator's app, TopView Admin Tools, gives access under the hood to the current operation and running TopView engines and provides access to the application, alarm, and notification logs. The TopView SCADA Connect module for Wonderware simplifies the integration of TopView and your alarms by providing import and synchronization of your current Wonderware alarms. Bidirectional watchdogs can be enabled that allow TopView to monitor the health of your SCADA system while also allowing the SCADA system to monitor the health of TopView. TopView's HMI components give you a view into TopView's health and also quick access to various TopView applications. And for those coming from other notification products, we offer a service to import your current Win911 or SCADA alarm settings into TopView, which also generates reports of any problems or issues with the existing configurations. Let's take a look at SCADA Connect and how it works. The first step is called Install for your HMI. This lets SCADA Connect configure your gateway, which is the communication layer between TopView and Wonderware. For System Platform or InTouch, TopView uses either FS Gateway or OI Gateway. And for InTouch Edge, the gateway is built in. The next step is to sync your Wonderware alarm to TopView. This step configures your alarms, alarm acknowledgements, alarm descriptions, and groups or areas for use by the TopView engine. The method used for syncing alarms depends on the Wonderware software. For InTouch, we can read the InTouch project or parse a dbdump CSV file. For System Platform, we read the alarms from the Galaxy repository database. And for InTouch Edge, we can read your alarms from the Edge project. The sync contains a few options that let you control some of the syncing details. For example, do you want to import the existing groups or areas from the SCADA system into TopView as TopView groups? So let me show you a demonstration of syncing alarms from the SCADA into TopView. So the first demo, I'm going to sync InTouch Edge alarms by reading the Edge project. So this is SCADA Connect HMI sync. There's a couple options on the left-hand side, and then I just need to point to the Edge project. We open the project, parse out the existing alarms, and you can see there's only a handful of alarms. There's an analog high and low and a couple digital alarms. So I'm going to choose to import all of those into TopView. So the sync to TopView now basically creates a TopView configuration which can drive one of the real-time engines. So this is bringing in the alarm tags, their descriptions, setting up the acknowledgements. And so once the information is into TopView, we're ready to monitor the alarms. It's just a matter of configuring what kind of notifications you want to set up. The second example is going to sync alarms out of InTouch using a dbdump CSV file. With this example, it's a much bigger project. So there's, I believe, over 5,000 alarms. So we're going to dump the alarms, but then we're going to choose a subset of those alarms to actually be synced over into TopView using what we call our tag picker. So again, there's some options on the left-hand side. I'm going to now point to the dbdump CSV file. So this parses out all the existing alarm tags and information, and then presents that in the tag picker again. But now I have a much larger list. You can see at the top, it says that there's 4,500 digital alarms and 805 analog alarms. So I would like to create an engine that only monitors my Culver Hill alarms. So they all start with a specific string in their tag name. So I can enter a filter for tags starting with Culver, and then choose to select all of these tags, and then return this to HMI sync, and then push these over into a TopView configuration through the sync to TopView. So at this point, it's exactly like the Edge project. We're creating a configuration that can drive one of the runtime engines. And so I'm able to create an engine that is just doing part of my alarms for a specific area. So again, it would just be at the point now where I have to start setting up my notifications. Alarm acknowledgements. So TopView provides multiple ways to acknowledge the alarms within TopView. This can be done through our desktop and our mobile clients, as well as through email, SMS, and voice call notification. Alarm acknowledgement in TopView is commonly used as a parameter for notification. So many users want to escalate notifications until an alarm is acknowledged. TopView allows you to synchronize the alarm acknowledged state in TopView with the Wonderware alarm acknowledged state, so that an alarm acknowledged by the operator on the HMI can acknowledge the same alarm in TopView, and an acknowledgement of an alarm in TopView can acknowledge the alarm in Wonderware. So let's look at a demo of alarm acknowledged synchronization. I'm going to use an InTouch Edge project. So just to describe what's going to happen, I'm going to run the Edge project, I'm going to run TopView, and then I'll do acknowledgements on each side and show how that's reflected in the other. So this was my configuration generated from the Edge project. You can retrieve the values from within the configurator just to verify that you can read things. So then I will launch the runtime engine. So I'm doing this interactively. I can also later install this as a Windows service, but during development and testing, it's really nice to launch it interactively because you can see the alarms on the screen. So Edge is on the right, and the alarm window is this black window at the top. And then TopView is on the left. This is our runtime engine running interactively. This is our current alarms view here. So in addition to showing you just alarms in TopView, we also show you what we call values view. So I can monitor the current value of all the alarm points that I'm looking at and see that they're not currently active, or I can go to alarms view and look at just the active alarms. So I'm going to trigger an analog alarm, a low analog alarm. So in Edge, it turns red, and so that means it's an active unacknowledged alarm. And then within the TopView window at the left, you can see that we're also showing that low analog alarm. On the TopView window, an item that's unacknowledged has the acknowledge button, so I can see it's currently unacknowledged. So currently it's unacknowledged in Edge because it's red. It's unacknowledged in TopView because you see the acknowledge button. So I'll acknowledge the alarm on the Edge side. It turns green in the Edge window, and the acknowledge button disappears in TopView, which means that we saw the acknowledge that happened to the Edge alarm. So now I'll reset the analog alarm. Both alarm windows show that there's no current alarms. And then I'll trigger a high analog alarm in Edge. So it's currently red in Edge, unacknowledged, and you can see the acknowledge button in TopView, which means it's currently unacknowledged. So this time I'll click on the acknowledge button. That performs the acknowledge in TopView. That then sends the acknowledge over to Edge, and you can see it turn green. Bidirectional alarm acknowledge synchronization. The alarm message in TopView is the default notification message. When you use SCADA Connect to sync your Wonderware alarms with TopView, the alarm message is initially set to the alarm description or comment. But you can edit the alarm message to add dynamic information through the use of TopView placeholders. A common use of this feature is to embed the analog value that triggered an alarm into the actual alarm message. So let's take a look at an example of that. And again, I'm going to do this Edge demo. And this actually appeared in the last demo I just showed you. But if I look at the analog alarm tags and I retrieve their values, you can see over in the tag value column that these are Boolean true false. So a true is an active alarm and a false is an inactive alarm. So that tag does not give us the actual analog value. So I'm going to go in to look at how we configure the alarm conditions for the analog alarms. And so you can see that we've set up an alarm condition to be equals true, which is the alarm is active. But I also have this custom alarm message. So this starts off as the message from Edge, but I can add a placeholder. And this placeholder lets me embed any tag that I can see, which happens to be here the analog tag value, into the alarm message. And I've done that for both the high analog alarm and the low analog alarm. So when I run the engine again, and we'll go back to the Edge project, you can see that there's currently no active alarms. And I'll pull up the TopView engine window on the left. And so this time when I trigger the analog alarm in Edge, when I see the message in TopView, it's the static text that I put in there, low analog alarm, followed by the value of the analog tag that triggered the alarm. So the idea is to give more information to the person that is either viewing the alarm message in a client or maybe receiving that as a notification. So most TopView users implement some form of alarm notification. And in TopView, we give you multiple options for when and how we send notifications. Audible notification or audible alarms are typically spoken alarm messages, text-to-speech conversion normally. They're available on the TopView machine, and they can also be streamed out to our desktop and web-based clients. TopView supports external notification through email, SMS, and text messages, voice call-out, and pagers. With TopView, you're not limited to notification just at the time of alarm. We also support notification upon an alarm acknowledge and return to normal event, with the ability to customize the notification message and recipients for each of those events. And you can easily escalate your notifications for persistent or unacknowledged alarms. Email notification in TopView can reach a wide range of recipients, including your traditional email clients, SMS and text recipients, and pagers. SMS and pager recipients are reached by sending email through the cellular carrier or the paging company. TopView supports SMTP along with authentication and security, and pretty much can guarantee compatibility with your email server. As an option, we allow email notification recipients to acknowledge the alarm by replying to the email or text message. Even if you're using the cellular carrier to deliver the email message as a text message, with most of the carriers in the US, replying to that text message will send an email back to the sending address, which allows that SMS recipient to acknowledge the alarm even though it was generated through an outgoing email. Although many users do send SMS through email, we also give users the option to send SMS messages directly using a cellular modem or an SMS provider. Cellular modems require a service from your cellular provider along with a SIM card, and you put the SIM card into the cellular modem just like you do into a cellular phone. So it's very similar to sending text messages on a cell phone. Our network cellular modem solution requires no drivers on the TopView machine. It's extremely reliable. It's also easy to use from TopView installations that are on virtual machines. So we've really tried to get away from the idea of plugging things into the TopView machine. Twilio is a cloud-based communication service, is how I think they tag themselves. And we support this in TopView. So if a TopView machine can reach the Twilio servers in the cloud, you can use this service to inexpensively send SMS alarm notification messages without needing a cellular modem and a cellular plan. As with email notification, SMS notification using cellular modems can be bidirectional to give text message recipients the ability to acknowledge the alarm or to request alarm states. Voice notification or voice call out delivers spoken alarm messages to any phone with the ability for the recipient to acknowledge the alarm using the phone keypad. Although we've supported TAPI in the past, we are recommending and moving our users to a more reliable network-based calling through VoIP. Our VoIP solutions could be the customer's in-house phone system if it supports VoIP, like a Cisco phone system. It can be a hosted or cloud-based VoIP provider if you can get to the cloud server. And the big thing is for users coming from TAPI who have an analog line, we have an inexpensive solution that allows TopView to make voice calls over that existing analog line. So you're putting a network device on the same network as TopView that allows us to talk to it as a VoIP server, and you can also plug in your analog line to make the analog phone call. So it basically completely replaces a voice modem or a TAPI device. The mobile web app for TopView is a web-based application that's really geared for mobile devices. Since it's a web application, there's nothing to install on the mobile device. Instead, it runs on the browser of the device. So pretty much any modern browser is compatible. The web server that you are connecting to for the mobile web app is hosted inside of the running TopView engine, and it can be accessed by any device on the network. For remote mobile users, a VPN into the TopView network can securely provide access to the mobile web app. With the mobile web app, users can view and acknowledge alarms and can perform simple queries of the alarm history. Users and permissions can be configured to require logon to be able to view alarms and to perform actions like an alarm acknowledge. So let me show you a demo of the mobile web app. There's 3 views of the mobile web app. There's alarms view, values view, and the alarm history. Alarms view shows you things that are currently in alarm or unacknowledged. You can filter the things that you're seeing by things like the area or the group. If you select one of the items that is unacknowledged, you can perform an acknowledgement if you're given permission to do so. Values view shows you the current values of all the points that we're monitoring. So this is very similar to what we saw in the TopView engine window. So regardless of alarm state, you can see the current states of all the monitored points. Alarm history shows you the alarms that happened over a configurable period of time. The chart shows you which tags had alarms and how many they had over that period. The alarm summary shows similar information, which points had alarms, how many did they have, what percent of the total. And then the table shows you just the log of the individual alarm events that happened over the 30-minute period that we did the query. The primary configuration tool for TopView is a Windows desktop application that runs on the TopView machine. But configuration can also be accomplished through our web configurator. The primary benefits of the web configurator is that it does not require any installation, and it can run local or remote to the TopView machine. So this makes it easy for a remote SCADA user or an operator to view and edit configuration information, such as notification contacts, our schedules, our notification groups, and you can even give access to things like the alarms and all associated notifications. You can also get real-time access in our next version to TopView performance information and access to all the application and alarm logs. So I'm going to show a demo of the web configurator. What I'm going to do is 2 things. One is I'm going to edit the email address for one of the contacts. And then for a voice call-out group, I'm going to change the order in which the people will be called. So I've configured users and passwords. Users are then given permissions to do certain things. So this operator user does have the ability to make some edits to the contacts and call-out groups. So I'm going to go into my contact list. So these are just people along with their phone numbers, their email addresses. So I do have edit permission as the operator, so I can change this email address from Sue to Susan Jones and save that change. When people receive notifications, it's basically contacts along with associated schedules. So schedules are days of the week and hours of the day where you would like to notify that person. So the visual on the calendar lets you see how these schedules have been configured. And as the operator, I do have the ability to come in and edit these schedules and save those changes. The notification groups are how we're going to call out alarms, whether it's email or voice or SMS. So I have this call out group. There's 3 people in the list along with their associated schedules. There's also some settings to do some escalations. So I'm going to call these 3 people, but instead of calling them one after the other, I can say I'm not going to call the first person for 60 seconds. That's a start delay. Then I'm going to wait 2 minutes before I call the second and the third person. You can also repeat the entire list of recipients a certain number of times and even delay between the repeats. So that's some simple escalations to do right as part of the notification group. So I'm just going to edit this group and I'm going to move Tom to be first in the list. So now Tom will get called before Sally and I can save the changes. So the things that I did in that web configurator can also be done in the desktop application. So we're slowly moving all of the configuration tasks to be part of both our desktop configurator and now our web configurator. Redundancy and failover. We have multiple options to ensure that the TopView engines are running and healthy, and one of these is to have redundant TopView machines. So with TopView redundancy, there are 2 installations of TopView, the primary and secondary machines. A watchdog on the secondary machine is responsible for monitoring the health of the engines on the primary machine. And if a primary machine engine is not healthy, a version of that engine on the secondary machine is started. And then once the primary engine is again healthy, the version on the secondary machine is stopped. So we give you 2 methods for how the watchdog on the secondary machine is monitoring the health on the primary machine. One option is to use a health tag that you create on the SCADA side. So the primary engine, while it's running, is writing to the heartbeat tag, and the watchdog on the secondary machine is monitoring that heartbeat tag to determine just really is the primary engine running and healthy. The second option we give, and this is our recommended option, is to perform monitoring directly from the secondary machine to the primary machine. The primary machine exposes around 60 pieces of health and status information that can be monitored by the watchdog to determine if the primary is healthy. So not only does this remove the SCADA system from our redundancy configuration, it gives the user more status and health information that can be used for a failover condition. So for example, failover could be configured if the primary engine is failing to make voice calls or to send SMS messages. So using the heartbeat tag in the first option, you really only know that it's running. You don't know a lot of details about how healthy that engine is. In addition to notifications, TopView makes both historical and current state information available to users through ad hoc and scheduled reports. Scheduled reports can optionally be emailed to 1 or more recipients. Each alarm report provides summary and detailed alarm history over a configured time range. The alarm report output formats to the file can be text, CSV, HTML, and JSON. Scheduled alarm reports are oftentimes sent to people who are interested in the overall alarm activity but may not be responsible for responding to individual alarm notifications. Snapshot reports provide current state information for both monitored values and the current alarm state, so very similar to the values view and the alarms view that we saw inside the engine. Snapshot reports can be beneficial to recipients of a notification because they provide big picture details of alarms beyond the alarm that generated the notification. Snapshot reports can be attached to outgoing email notifications, and if you've configured incoming email in TopView, you can send a request email at any time to request a snapshot report. Alarm Analytics is available in our desktop client and provides in-depth analysis of the alarm history through an interactive series of tables and graphs. With Alarm Analytics, we're not just showing you what happened. Instead, we're identifying the most frequent alarms, periods of alarm flooding, and periods with the largest number of overall active alarms. Alarm Analytics is an interactive exercise that allows the user to query, filter, and readjust the analysis in the hopes of identifying and reducing alarm activity. Some other features to mention. To assist the users with configuration tasks, TopView provides export and import functions for all the alarm tags, conditions, notification settings through CSV files that can be easily edited in Excel. So most of our configuration screens, you'll see import and export buttons to allow you to do this. Our administrative tools organize and present not only the application logs, but real-time performance and diagnostic information. TopView can even be configured to monitor itself to provide alarms and notification based on internal operating parameters. The TopView engine runs reliably as one or more Windows services to provide continuous execution regardless of the logged on user. And as I mentioned, typically for larger installations, users will break up the TopView engine into multiple engines that run side by side, each doing a part of the whole. It simplifies configuration, it distributes the load across multiple engines, and allows you to take a single engine up or down without affecting the others. Most systems require change, and with TopView, we've minimized the disruption caused by changes by dynamically applying most of your alarm and notification changes without you needing to restart the TopView engine. I hope I've been able to give you a basic understanding of TopView, how it integrates with Wonderware, our basic alarm and notification features, and I'm happy to answer any questions, so I'll pass it back over to Annie.
Perfect. And then we did have a few questions come in. Our first one is, can I send different types of notifications for the same alarm?
Yes. So we allow you to do, typically people are tied into one kind of notification, like we do voice calls for everything. But we also try to tell people there's a lot of benefits, maybe doing some text messages initially or some emails, and then as things are not being acknowledged, starting to do other forms of notification. So you can easily do that, any combination of the email, texting, and voice calls.
Perfect. And then do you require SQL Server or another database?
So all of our configuration and logging is stored in files by default. We do allow you to use SQL Server. The options for doing that are for storing alarm history and for also doing something we call a snapshot output. But all of our use of databases is optional. The reason that we've stuck with files is that it makes all of your configuration information and your logs are stored in one set of folders under a main area we call the data path. You can back up that folder and all the files, and that gives you everything you need to completely restore TopView on another machine. It also gives us ability to do backups and versioning of all your configurations, so you always have the ability to go back to any point in history and restore yourself to that point of configuration.
Perfect. And then do you need multiple licenses to break up the alarms like you mentioned for best practices?
No. So from a licensing standpoint, we're a tag-based licensing product. So once let's say you've bought TopView for 500 tags, you can run one engine with 500, you can run 5 engines with 100. So we do know what you're running across all of the engines, and there's no limitations or licensing rules around how many engines you run. So it's up to the user. Our only real technical issue is we would like you to keep an engine to 10,000 alarms or less. That just makes it easier for you to manage under one process and one configuration. But from a licensing standpoint, you can run as many engines as you'd like. And just to mention, these larger customers we have that are running hundreds of thousands of alarms, they're doing it on a single install of TopView. They have over 200 TopView engines running side by side.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Dane, and thank you to everyone who attended. If anyone would like to review any portion of this webinar, a recording will be available on YouTube and our website, california.wonderware.com, in the near future, and you'll be receiving a copy of it once it becomes available. Thank you again for attending, and have a great day.